Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and excuse the background noise. Considering it's January, it's still pretty hot here in Texas, so there's fans on and background noise and all sorts of stuff. So excuse the background noise. But this is a paid request for Lucas for Ben 10 Season 3. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thought streams, commentaries, tier list rankings, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Now, I will say, like Ben 10, if I have to judge what I've seen so far, Season 1 I would say is the best. Season 2 I thought it dipped a bit, and this I thought it dipped a bit more in quality. Just in, I wouldn't say I hated the show. It's still harmless. It's still fun enough to see the different types of creatures. Ben and his dialogue with his cousin, it has that kind of, bit of fun, childish, back and forth type of way. I still like Grandpa, because he's voiced by the Colonel from Metal Gear Solid, which I love Metal Gear Solid 1. But, I don't know. For me, there's no, for example, there's no overarching plot to this season. Not really. I mean, there's a bit of a two-parter with this character Ghost Freak, who's one of his monsters, aliens he could turn into in season 1. Then he disappeared in season 2, except for one episode where he, interesting idea, he wanted to be on his own and became a villain, and then he comes back here for a two-parter. But honestly, Ghost Freak could have been the villain on his own. Like, had all this other stuff in there. And then the new monsters I wasn't really into for the most part. Because there's like a mummy one, there's like a werewolf one, and was it this one or the next one? There's like a Frankenstein monster one. Yeah, because I think in the two-parter, episode 11 and 12, he does turn into that. And I don't know, when it's these aliens, cool, but then now it's like, okay, let's have him be a mummy, let's have him be a werewolf. What's that? He's going to be a vampire? Is it going to be a creature from the, I mean, well, I guess Ripjaws is kind of a creature in the water. I mean, it's just, I mean, just makes it less interesting. It's like you run out of ideas. Let's have a space werewolf. Let's have a mummy that's from space. I mean, I don't know. And again, there's not really an overarching plot to the whole season. But again, started with episode 1. This I didn't mind. I thought it was an interesting way to start it, where it was the two kids are planning the grandpa's birthday. Gwen gets taken by this older lady. Ben changes into the speedster character, which again is one of my favorite alien forms in the show. Chases after them. Kind of find out they enter 20 years in the future. And the lady's actually an older Gwen. And then there's the older Ben. It was nice to see an older Ben, like what his creatures were. And then the fact that I think they say he's got 10,000 aliens. So you see like a couple other little aliens in there. One that can freeze stuff in the water, among other stuff. You do have Amino, which, why is this guy like one of the recurring bad guys? Amino, what the fuck he's, I guess Animal, like Animal, because he controls animals. Why did this guy have to be one of the recurring bad guys? He's one of the least interesting villains on the show. Oh, he could control animals. I mean, I guess they figure it's an easy. He could control different kinds of animals and mutate them, so we'd have a different kinds of creatures. So he's like an easy bad guy to go back towards. But he's one of the lesser interesting villains to me. But anyway, The older Ben is a jerk, doesn't know how to have fun anymore. And first the animal guy, and then the bad guy from season 1 at the end of season 1, he comes back. The two Bens have to join together, and then you find out, well, really, older Ben could have taken care of this, but the older Gwen brought him here because Ben was turned into a jerk and wanted the older Ben to remember you have a team, you have a family, to chill out, to work together, to have fun. So you have like the older Ben using a hoverboard in order to fight the bad guys. So it was cool to see the future. It was cool to see a future where everyone knew Ben and there's different humans and aliens living together. They celebrate Grandpa's 80th birthday. It was a different backdrop, which I didn't mind. Granted, it's kind of a spoiler warning because it kind of tells you everything will be fine. Because if 20 years in the future Ben and Gwen are still doing this, that means whatever happens later, more than likely they're not going to die because they don't survive for that 20-year future. So kind of spoiler warning, but I don't know. I guess they didn't really care or think of it that way. But I mean, it was a fun having that different type of story. An older Ben and Gwen was an interesting thing to see, so I didn't mind that. So that was a nice start to the season. Then we have episode 2, where Ben sees these two older people, but they're acting as like a grandpa, grandma type of age gap for these two older people, but they're doing martial arts and stealing stuff, and they seem out of it. So Ben turns to Wild Mutt, the orange, hairy creature, which to me is one of the worst forms. I always hate when he turns that form because I think it's a very boring form. I'm like, I don't know why he ever turns into this, unless it's by mistake. Because there's so many other forms that could do the job. Speed-wise, speedster. Strength-wise, forearms. And, they're actual characters that can talk and communicate. I don't see what this creature has that the others don't that makes him a benefit to turn into compared to others. I don't get it, but that's just me. So the bad guys get away. Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa go to this place where there's a hypnotist. And the hypnotist, which I'm thinking, okay, this is obviously going to be a bad idea because if you hypnotize someone who happens to have a fucking magic watch, or not magic, but you know what I mean. Lo and behold, he sleepwalks, he gets controlled when he sleeps, and then he's turned into these alien forms to do the bad guy's bidding. Gwen and Grandpa find and realize this. The one fun bit was the ways Gwen has to keep Ben awake, like dumping ice down his shirt, or beeping him, or such to keep him awake. I thought that was kind of funny. But other than that, it's a situation they could have gotten out of and never got into to begin with. Then he turns into the plant monster in order to fight the hypnotized people in this mall. And is able to get the hypnotist, and they're on this big clock in the mall. Again, the plant monster, the vine guy, again, not really. I don't. And people say, well, why aren't you big on these forms? Like the vine guy, I don't know, just the design. It's just there's other forms I prefer. Ever since season 1, we see less and less of the fire guy, Heat Blast. Which I don't know why, because I thought he was one of the coolest forms. Voice-wise, power-wise, design-wise. And again, for less and less they use him. I don't know. I mean, maybe they use him a little bit more here than season 2, but not a whole lot. Which again, I don't understand. I don't get it. I never really understood that. Like him and the diamond guy. They're like two of the lesser used. I think those are two of the more interesting designs. And I think for me, the whole having 10, I think 5 is a good number. Have the heat blast, the diamond eye, the speedster. You'd have gray matter, because for funny, goofy stuff. The mistake, oh my god, I'm so small. But then he's also very, very intelligent. It could be kind of cute in certain situations. And then maybe have Ghost Freak, and then Ghost Freak becomes bad, and then he has 4. And then maybe he gains one more, and that could be the Thunderbolt. Or, what is it called? Not Thunder, Cannonbolt. Which I do like that design. But I think 5 is all you need. I mean, 4 arms is fine, but I don't know. I think the other characters could suffice on that. And have that be like maybe one of the limitations is he doesn't have super strength. I mean, these others are stronger, but then he's got to find other. I mean, so you can limit some stuff he can do. So that certain situations he's got to think more out of the box instead of having this thing where he could do anything. Fly, do this guy. Super strong, do this. So the only way they make it to limit it is that the thing screws up and he hits and he turns to the wrong guy. And they do that so many fucking times that it does get old. Oh man, I'm not supposed to be this guy. Oh man, I'm not supposed to be that guy. Oh man, I didn't mean to be that guy. Oh man, why is it not working? Like when you do that so many fucking times, it just, for me, it just gets old. It gets tiresome. It's like they put themselves in a corner that they didn't really need to. But again, these are meant to sell toys. So hey, you have 10 alien forms and we create more. It's to sell more toys. That's usually what these shows are for. So, I mean, the hypnotist angle, the forms that he turned to Wildmutt, the vine guy, made it, I don't know, I didn't really care about the episode. Episode 3, another one I didn't really care about because you have that female witch from before who was kind of an arch rival for Gwen. She tries to, the villain tries to switch bodies, but switches accidentally with Gwen. So Gwen is in the female, the witch's body, but she gets put in juvie. Because apparently, even if you have magic powers, you still get put in juvie. So then Gwen has to deal with being in juvie and the other women in there, and then ultimately works with them and breaks out. While the bad guy as Gwen tries to sweet talk Ben and Grandpa. Until eventually the cat's out of the bag. And then at one point Gwen and Ben's bodies get switched. The only funny bit I remember is they're both kind of, I forget what it's called, when you're tied up. Not tied up, but you're locked in. You kind of, your head's here and your arms are here. I forget what that's called. Sometimes back in the day they would go to the gallows, but sometimes that's interpreted with the hanging. No, anyway. So Gwen in Ben's body is saying, "Hey, I have lotion in there. We need to get out of it." So one's kicking the other's butt, and Ben's like, "Hey, well, think of it this way. Technically, technically you're kicking my butt." And that makes Ben happy. Also, I like the appearance of Cannonbolt because I do like that creature, that form. That's used to defeat the villain. But yeah, the more Gwen center episodes, I just find a lot less interesting. The episode 4 I did like. Episode 4 I thought was very unique, and I thought it was one of the better episodes of the season. The three characters are in Death Valley, and then they find this random, like these giant toy soldiers, and they enter, and then it's a realm with snow. And apparently, this is a town that's been cursed since the 1930s to be centered specifically on Christmas. So this guy, Mr. Jingles, thinks he needs to find a Santa and thinks Grandpa's Santa. The longer you're there, you turn to an elf. And then you have to deal with toy soldiers shooting at you. You gotta deal with all these other creatures, giant teddy bears, icemen, that is like snowmen. So I thought it was a kind of a different, unique story. Some of the action scenes were fun. When the speedster alien has when I say the speedster, I'm talking about the one with the faceplate that could go really fast. But I thought it was one of the better designs. I like that he's got to try to run on ice. And there's even a little bit where he accidentally kind of gets a candy cane and starts sucking on it while he's in this action scene. Also, one thing they started doing in this season, which is interesting, is that they'll do some of these slow-mo kind of freeze frame. If there's like a punch or a hit, so it's like, so it's like freeze frame, but they're slowly moving, and it's like this big wide spot, wide shot. So if he's like in this one, he's throwing a lot of snowballs and people. Some stuff to kind of punctuate a few action scenes. I thought that was a nice touch that I don't remember them doing in the other seasons. This is one bit where he turns to the little gray matter, the little alien guy, and he's got to like jump on these platforms to get to this place. And it's just like a video game, even has sound effects like a video game. I'm like, yep, this is like when I play one of those Mario games. I forget which one it was. Was it Odyssey? I forget which one that had those that kind of turning, and I forget which one now. Yeah, I forget that was Galaxy or Odyssey. Eventually, they're able to find out what to do. They gotta deliver these presents. The curse is lifted, and I'm not sure about the logic of the ending, but at the same time, it's a cartoon show about a town from the 30s being cursed with Christmas. I mean, I guess pretty much anything can happen. So that I didn't mind. Number 5, they're in Navajo country, and they meet some folks, including a girl who Ben has a crush on. But then there's supposedly a werewolf on the loose. Then you find out it's an alien werewolf who bites Ben when he's got the plant alien form on. But more so, it hits the watch. So then Ben starts turning to the werewolf, but then you realize, well, yeah, you didn't get bit is because it scratched your watch and it took some of the DNA, so now it's another form he could turn into. Granted, he rarely turns into that for the rest of the season, like maybe once or twice, but very rarely. Pretty much, I mean, some of the stuff was fun, to be fair, of him, like the early stages of him turning into a wolf, and some of the comedy goofiness involves, like the look, the design. I would say I don't mind the design when he's the werewolf. I didn't mind the fight that he has with the other werewolf. They escape this lava. Fights with Cannonbolt. Anytime I see that Cannonbolt, which is this kind of white, yellow creature that could roll into a ball and bounce around like Sonic the Hedgehog, there's always some fun to be had there. There was a bit where you find out that the girl doesn't have a crush on him. He's like, well, I kind of liked you when you were turned to that werewolf, but now, no. Thought, maybe I could have trained you and tamed you. And then the cousin sticks up for him in a funny way. You can't talk to him that way. Only I could talk to my cousin that way. If someone's going to train him and tame him, it's me. But yeah, I like that because it was a funny way of doing it, but it shows her sticking up for her cousin. I was a bit surprised that, you figure, oh, is that going to work out? It would be like a sweeter separation. But the fact that she just dumps him, I was a bit surprised. But I thought that was kind of made it a bit funnier. So that episode I didn't mind. Like I said, I don't know about him turn. I mean, it's funny. I said I don't know about him turn to a werewolf, but then they rarely use it anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. But the rest of the episode I didn't mind. I didn't mind the location they were at. The design of the werewolf looked pretty decent. So, episode 6, the two are playing a video game. He pretends to be Upgrade, which he goes to the video game to change his cousin Gwen's store. Lightning hits it. They both get sucked into the game. And then the rest of it is them kind of playing a video game where they fight creatures. And granted, there's a lot of action in this episode, to be fair. A lot of action. So it's definitely not boring. Ben's favorite character, Sumo, is in there, but Sumo likes Gwen more than him. Gwen, for the most part, Gwen is just outshining Ben, and Ben's just fucking up. So Gwen gets his bow and arrow, Gwen gets some powers, Ben keeps fucking up because he's trying to impress the Sumo guy, but he's failing. Which, I don't know, I wasn't really that interested in that part. I get what they're going for. And ultimately, he turns to Upgrade to defeat the bad guy at the end. I like that Grandpa's able to come in and able to help out, help reveal who the villain is at one point. Thought that was kind of nice, clever idea. I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of them being sucked into a video game, but maybe just the design of the video game itself just wasn't interesting to me. Maybe if they had more references, maybe if they put references to other games that kind of give that bit of nostalgia, or I don't know. Something about that didn't quite click with me, but I can't really put in the words in the best way, so sorry about that. Episode 7 I did like. I thought this was one of the better episodes. I like the idea that Ben sees that a cartoon has stolen his alien designs. Heat Blast, Wild Mutt, Forearms. Which is funny because he rarely uses Heat Blast anymore, so it's ironic that's one of the ones they steal. But Forearms on the show is Scottish, and Heatwave likes to rhyme, and so Ben wants to go it, and he can't quite say why, so he's like, you still in? Because he can't admit that he's those characters. You still have from the news. And then there's this other guy he likes who has a stunt show, this commando guy. And he accidentally ruins the stunt show, but then he's able to help the guy out with his stunt show. And wow, one of the few times you get to see Heat Blast. Wow, finally. So I like the idea of him helping out his idol on a stunt show. Again, I like the idea of this cartoon stealing his designs. And then he just automatically thinks this guy's the bad guy because he stole his look. And then some strange thing starts happening, and maybe it's the idol, his idol commando guy that's doing it. But he finds out that people are being framed, and there's an evil twin. Which, I don't know, that felt a bit out of left field to just have an evil twin of the commando guy. I'm like, well, that's information that, number one, how, I mean, if these characters knew these, like, if Ben knew this guy, how, let's say, oh, he just conveniently forgot that was a thing. I don't know, but yeah, I like that it took place on the backdrop of like a studio lot, and then a stunt show, an animation show. I like the backdrop of it. Again, nice to see Heat Blast again. Probably my favorite design of the form of these aliens. So overall, I liked that one. That was kind of fun. But then we have a couple episodes that seem kind of I don't know, they just in one ear out the other. Episode 8, Grandpa takes them to a farm because he thinks they need to know a bit about words since they're not doing their chores. While they're there, animals are being transformed. There's these cows, these bulls that turn mutant, and Ben has to stop them. And then you find out there's this mummy. I guess the only thing I have to say about overarching art is that there's this purple lightning and these storms. So you had the werewolf one, and then now what's happening here, and then you find out later Ghost Freak has a thing, and it has to do with this mineral. So I guess technically has an overarching arc, but it's so damn forgettable that I forgot it when I started this fucking review. So there you go. Probably the only thing that was kind of fun was him using his alien forms to do the chores. So using forearms to milk the cows, using the wild mutt to do the fields. The speedster one did the feed the animals and or get the chicken eggs. So yeah, that was kind of fun. But the villain, it just being like a alien mummy, is okay. Are we really running out of ideas? He uses upgrade, which again, something about that design, that form, just never intrigued me, never fascinated me. Uses machine to freeze the creature, and then it's all done. So, yeah. I think just because I'm not into the villain, not really into the overarching story. I think the only bit was the fun bits of humor of them using powers to do the chores. Episode 9, Ben's former Little League team. The family goes back to watch them. These bullies he had, they're on the team as well. They're playing another team, but the other team seems a bit weird, a bit iffy. You kind of find out that other team are robots, and the reason they're robots is because I guess the president of the United States likes to go watch Little League games, and so they figure we'll find a way to take the president out and replace him with a robot. I'm like, really? With this Little League game shit? It's one of the few times we get to see the diamond alien form, which, again, I don't know why he's so underused, that form. he uses forearms that form to fight and defeat the robots, save the president, save the day. The only thing I kind of liked about this episode, again, some of the humor bits, where before they know what's going on, he's like, I'm going to help this team win. So as the speedster, he makes it where the other team starts missing catching the balls, and other kids hit the ball, and he moves the ball so that the other team don't catch it. I just said the same thing twice. I do like that he takes the bully and he moves the ball so it gets hit. The guy has to take the walk. He got hit like in the pelvis or something. I thought that was kind of funny. But other than that, just wasn't sure on the story. Episode 10, they're at the Chicago Music Festival. Grandpa wants to see this band called Shag Carpeting. And Ben is being a fucking brat. And I gotta say, this Ben, I know it's a cartoon. I get it. I know it's not fair to say this because you say this for a dozen cartoons, at least, off the top of your head. But it feels like Ben is not learning anything. He's not changing. He's not growing as a character. He's just, at times, still a fucking brat. I get he's still a kid. I guess technically these 3 seasons are all taking place in the same summer. I guess. Is that what we're supposed to think, that so far these 3 seasons have all been the same summer vacation? This is a long ass summer vacation, I'll say that. But again, I get it. But I think maybe just in this particular, he just really seemed like a fucking brat. Just a fucking brat. And that just, like, Jesus Christ, Ben. Part of me's like, shut up. But, sorry, I have to just do something real quick. But it's like, goddamn, Ben, shut up. Because he's getting mad at Grandpa, because Grandpa, God forbid, wants to see his favorite band, and Ben's like, well, if he doesn't want to do what I want to do, I don't care what he wants to do. Shut the fuck up, Ben, you fucking brat. Oh, and the villain here is a weatherman. Has this robot that monitors the weather. Then he shoots it up in the air to help, I guess, create a little bit of rain. But then lightning hits it, like his Johnny Five is alive. And then lo and behold, the fucking robot becomes a sentient being. And the reason why I didn't consider this robot much of a threat is Ben defeats it like 3 fucking times. It's one of the few times you see Heat Blast, and he's able to defeat it the first time there. Then comes back and he beats it as the speedster, doing this quick turn and throwing into, I think, like salt or something. And then the third time beats it with as forearms and a guitar, because apparently if you play a guitar, the sound will affect its circuits and be a like a opposite react. So really, it's just him playing guitar, and then he's no longer that alien form. So it's Ben playing the guitar, as if he's Marty McFly, and fucks up the. I mean, this villain kind of sucked too. Really, a weather controlling robot that gets defeated like 3 times. Again, it's not much of a threat then. Episode 11 and 12, that's where it kind of gets into the actual plot of the season. The beginning is this random action scene where they stop these convicts. And then Michael Dorn, which I like Michael Dorn. He was Worf in Star Trek The Next Generation. You find out that this mineral is dealing with the mummy and werewolf creatures. And they come back. They have to get on this NASA ship, and there's some big end game dealing with the moon and make it so that everything is dark. Because Ghost Freak is the main villain. Because Ghost Freak can't live in the light. So you make everything dark, then he could be perfectly fine and they would fuck everything up. But then there's a Frankenstein monsters type of creature, and Ben gets the DNA, and then he becomes the Frankenstein-like creature in episode 12. Episode 12 is mostly a battle on the NASA ship. I don't know, Ghost Freak seems like one of those villains that could have been a lot more interesting than it is. I don't know if it's just I like the design he had before, but when he showed his real, this is how I really look, he was less interesting. He was less interesting to look at. He was less interesting to me at least. And again, throwing all these other alien forms, like a mummy and a werewolf and a Frankenstein type monster. Again, I'm like, where's the fucking vampire? So I'm like, what is it? Like, really? I don't know why that bothers me. I don't know why. Maybe because it's consistently alien forms. Alien forms. Granted, the ghost was the exception, but the exception was what made it more intriguing. But then, I don't know, just... I can't explain. It just didn't do it for me. And I don't know, I just didn't really care. And then episode 13 was this female alien who the grandpa Max knew back in the day. Ben is getting jealous of her because she is having grandpa's attention. So then at the end, there's another drone, just like you would have at the first episode of the show. Which I'm like, okay, well, why can't you turn to the Diamond Guy or these other forms to defeat it? And then eventually she gives Ben another form. Which, I mean, this form is interesting, but it's only in one episode. And it's this little dude, green dude, that's almost like Kirby. You know, the Nintendo, where he can eat, spit, and then he can eat stuff and spit it out. So it's like he can swallow everything, or as much as possible, or as much as probable, then spit it back out, which he does. He keeps eating pieces of the drone, spits it back out, and becomes this projectile. I didn't mind him. He was like the only new alien form I didn't mind, but he was only in one episode, the last episode. So there you go. And then pretty much her and Grandpa Max say goodbye, and Ben apologizes, and they also try to make this big reveal of when the watch landed in the first episode. It wasn't meant for you, it was meant for your grandpa. And Ben's like, what? You really think the most powerful weapon I would give to a kid? I don't know why Ben is so shocked about that. Like, he really thought some alien from the sky said, here, I specifically choose you, like he's a fucking Green Lantern. I would have figured he thought, oh, this landed randomly. I was the only guy around to be near the watch. I got it by luck, by chance. I didn't think he thought he was destined by the alien lords to I choose Ben specifically for this task. I'm like, is that really what you thought all along? Why the fuck did you think that all along? I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird, but that's just me. But yeah, take that for you will. I liked the little alien form he was at, but other than that, I mean, it was interesting to see a little bit of Grandpa. They do kiss, so you get a bit of tonsil hockey, which makes Ben and Gwen sick, of course. Kind of a weird way to end the season because you're thinking usually it's like this big battle that is where it culminates to this big fight with the main bad guy of the season. And that really is kind of just a random one off. But okay, I mean, it was fine. So I don't know. I would say like this one just felt lesser than season 1 and 2 for me. I would say that the best episodes for me was the one with the dealing with the cartoon animator that stole his alien designs and dealing with his idol hero stunt show guy, Mr. Commando guy. I didn't mind that one. I didn't mind the Christmas one. I didn't mind the first episode. I just thought there were a lot more duds than hits in this season. Again, at the end of the day, it doesn't make me mad or anything. It's just one of those, it is what it is, that type of feeling, that type of reaction. Maybe I'm just damn burnt out on Ben 10. Maybe that's what it is. But still I have a bit more. Because I have 6 episodes of Ben 10 Season 4. Then a video game, which I'm curious about the video game. And what is it? A movie based on the show. So, which I mean, I'm curious about the movies. Apparently, there's some live action movie versions of this. Although, I mean, I'm sure they're bad, but I will admit I'm kind of curious to how they do these versions of these creatures. So, who knows, maybe one day those will get requested. But anyway, getting closer and closer to the Ben 10 marathon being over. But thank you, Lucas, for your generosity and your kindness. That's why I'm trying to get these out as soon as I can. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for your generosity, Lucas. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.